Well, it's about that time. It's E3 season, everyone. It's the ripe time for real rumors and fake leaks. And I'm not super interested in covering rumors of all that sort, but as it does pertain to Persona, I think it's worth covering this one in some regard, I suppose. It's not easy to get a read on Atlus, as they seem to operate on a different wavelength from other companies. And now that they're on the radar of big companies, even though they are quite small by comparison, a lot of people are expecting a little bit more from them than what they're offering. More specifically when it pertains to Persona. So what are the chances you could believe a rumor when the company itself is so silent?
Konnichiwa, minasan. Exubatsu no fiddle desu.
So we've been hearing a lot about the real, or maybe not real, Persona 3 Remake. A lot of this section is going to sound like me going over stuff I've already talked about in my other Persona 3 Remake videos. So I'll break it down in a very, very short way. I do believe Persona 3 Remake does exist. Atlus is well aware of the fact that people want it, and I do think that the Persona 3 Remake supposed leak was probably real in some capacity. The other thing I think we should look at is at the Xbox showcase. Assuming that leak from earlier this year was real, it's a definite possibility. This would mean the game has been in development for well over 2 years, since that footage was from 2021. It was a pretty decently polished animation, minus the minor details. And I'd assume that Atlus would have begun development around 2018 or 2019 based on a few other external factors. That would leave a rough 4-year development period, which is pretty standard for a lot of video games. Now you could argue, well, it does take Atlus a long time to make Persona games. I mean, have you seen Persona 6? But there's a big chunk of this game Atlus does not need to touch, that being the story and its characters. Perhaps some minor dialogue and event rewrites, but overall the plot and the characters do not need to be altered in any way, shape, or form.
That would save a lot of time.
So I do believe it's possible for the game to be shown and released this year. And it's not unlikely that Microsoft would show it, considering the fact that they were the ones who announced Persona was coming to all major modern platforms last year. And if you're gonna point to the port of Persona 3 Portable, I'll be honest, I genuinely do not see why that would make a difference in Atlus remaking Persona 3. Cash in on a remaster, cash in on a remake. Seems like a good plan to them. So yeah, I don't doubt the possibility that Persona 3 Remake could be coming this year, and it could be at Xbox Showcase.
Oh, Cash really does calm my nerves.
Did you guys hear about that new Persona domain? It's called P5T, and has once again brought up huge speculation about what it could be, accompanied by the new rumor that there is a Persona 5 spin-off coming in 2024. And I think that's honestly pretty likely, regardless of what you may think of spin-offs and what I think of spin-offs. Let's be real here. It's been 3 years since the last Persona 5 spin-off. It's gonna be 4 by the time February of next year rolls around. Remember that Strikers came out in 2020 in Japan. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's at least one more Persona 5 spin-off to top off the Persona 5 series of games, I guess. It still feels weird to call it that, but I think that's the best way to describe it. Anyways, with this new domain, I don't really have any hard speculation as to what it could be. Arena, maybe, but I'm not really filled with possibilities. Again, Arena already has a domain and it's P5U. But yeah, I really wouldn't be surprised if we got another Persona 5 spinoff before Persona 6. And that leads to the biggest piece of this rumor.
Ah, come on, it was just a joke. Nothing else popped into my head when she asked, so...
Okay, I've got it. Please wait.
Got what?
Yeah, this one really isn't that surprising. Persona 5 took about 8 years to develop, and it wouldn't surprise me that a game aiming to be better than that one is taking longer to develop. Of course, you can argue that Atlus could hire more developers and pour more money into the game, but that's a very simple solution that doesn't address the multi-layered complexity that is game development. As someone who is not a game developer, I think it's better to not completely judge how simple something is based on how it looks, especially in video game development. What we hear from developers is that things are never as easy as they look. And I think that's a very important thing to keep in mind when looking at any time frame for development. Persona 6 is not a question of if, it's a matter of when. There is no way that Persona 6 is not coming, even if Atlus hasn't announced it. You have to remember that Atlus is not a huge company, and they don't have all the backings that some of these other companies have. Anyways, I really wouldn't even fully believe that Persona 6 will be out by late 2024, because it might even be longer than that. Atlus is being very careful about when to finally begin marketing Persona 6. I think they really, really do not want to repeat the Persona 5 incident, nor do they want to repeat the SMT5 silence. And I'm sure they want to please fans with something truly great, where we can go look at P5 and say, damn, this is like a whole different game. Something to really blow us away. And with the amount of praise that Persona 5 has gotten, it's not easy, and it's gotta be a lot of pressure. So I say, sure. I believe that the earliest Persona 6 could come out is in late 2024. But I'm not solid on that window either. I think that could change anytime. Now, the other part of this rumor is some form of PS5 exclusivity. People are attributing this to, oh, Atlus hates money, and or Atlus is pulling an Atlus. But this is almost 100% because of money. I mean, let's take a look at Sony's most recent console-exclusive JRPG.
I'll kill you. If it's the last thing I do.
Oh, that's right, it's Final Fantasy. You know, the most popular JRPG of all time. So yeah, I don't doubt that they have the money to at least buy timed exclusivity to Persona, if they have the money to buy timed exclusivity to Final Fantasy. My small point here is that I don't think you can write this off as just Atlus being weird. It definitely pays better to get a good deal on your initial release, and still have millions of people buy your game when you release it on the other platforms later.
Anyway, let's move out. I suspect we still have a long way to go.
So the general gist is, I think these rumors sound pretty reasonable. We'll see about in a week or so, but I don't think anything here is really that surprising or that out of place. They seem like they could be relatively safe predictions. That's not to doubt anyone's credibility. I don't mean to say, oh, the leakers are lying, blah, you know, make up stuff about them and be mean. I'm just saying that I feel like the stuff listed here isn't exactly outlandish. It kind of makes sense when you think about the Persona series and how Atlus has been putting out games for a while. There's a lot of things that point to these rumors being true in some fashion. I just genuinely want to see more Persona games in the future because it's been a long, long time since the last one. Anyways, why don't you go down to the comments and let me know about what you think about these rumors. Do you think they're true? Do you think they're false? Do you think it's a load of baloney and you just want to see actual announcements from Atlus? And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more things Persona, Atlus, and JRPG related. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.